Hey guys, today I'm doing a deck profile for Crystal Beasts. So I've been playing this deck for a few years, and I've always really liked it. And it's one of the few rogue decks that I feel like has a bit of potential, because there's some new support coming out for it. I'm hoping that maybe could bump it up a few spots in the tier list. But anyway, let's get to the profile. So, obviously 3 Pegasus. This is like your, this is the card you always want to have in your hand, basically, because all the Crystal Beast effects go off when you have other ones in the spell and trap card zone, and every time you summon this, either normal or special or whatever, you get to add another one. So you always want this in your hand. You're always going to go for it. Next we have 3 Tiger. Basically he gains 400 when he attacks an opponent's monster. He's decent. You know. He's better than all the other Crystal Beasts, basically, besides Pegasus and Carbuncle. So, yeah. 2000 attack, Crystal Beast, decent enough. And he's level 4. Then you have 2 Carbuncle. You don't want to draw this card. This is the card that allows all of the shenanigans, I guess you could say, because whenever it's special summoned, you bring as many Crystal Beasts as you want from your spell and trap card zone. So, gotta run Carbuncle. Gotta go for the crazy combos with him. Anyway, now that I got through the, I guess, more unknown cards, I'll go a little faster, but 2 Summoner Monk. This deck runs, 20-something spells, I think. Maybe not that many. It runs a lot of spells, basically. Yeah, I think it does run around 21. So, basically, you definitely are going to have a lot of spells that aren't necessary for your current plays, and you're going to be able to pitch those with Summoner Monk. Go into any XYZ you need. You have a lot of utility with the XYZs. Can help take care of things. Then I run 2 copies of each of the hands. With the pendulum heavy meta right now, it would make a lot of sense to bump this one up to 3, just because destroying spells or traps is a bit better in the current meta than just getting 1 monster. But anyway, I only run 2 because I found that running extra ones is a little cloggy, and I mean, you don't want it too much. You know, it'll help stall you out or get you some extra plays, but other than that, I mean, you want to focus on the Crystal Beast really. The deck is really slow, like really slow. So you need 3 Maxx C. You need the draw power. There's really no better card for this. Especially in the pendulum heavy meta, you're going to get a lot of use out of it. 3 Effect Veiler. Monster effects can really really break this deck. So you definitely need Effect Veiler. You don't run Fiendish Chain or back row like that, so Effect Veiler is where it's at. Now this card, I saw a deck profile, and a guy mentioned this card, and I looked into it. It's really good in this deck because both Tiger and Pegasus are Beast type, so what you can do is pop one of them, they go to spell and trap card zone, then you shuffle 1 card your opponent has on the field back into the deck. So, yeah, amazing card. It doesn't destroy, so they won't get their destruction effects, it just shuffles it. It's like Castell, and being able to pop your own is actually useful in a lot of ways. So, 2 Mirror Force. You don't get it off a lot with the amount of back row destruction people have nowadays, but when you do, it's really, really helpful. I'd run 3 if I had enough room. Now, this is a little different. I run 2 Abundance. I know a lot of people only want to run 1 of these. Definitely don't run 3. 3 is crazy, like way too cloggy. And 2 is iffy because if you don't know what this does, when you have 4, you play this, send all the cards on the field, and then special summon as many Crystal Beasts. as the cards that were sent from your opponent's side. So basically, this is the best. It's like the best spell on this deck if you have the right conditions, which I know that sounds kind of strange, but it's easier to go off with Carbuncle's effect and get them, and then just go into XYZs and try and clear the field. But if people don't, if they don't have an answer to this, this will win you games so much. And honestly, if you run one, you're never going to see it. And it's not too bad to have as a first turn because you have Summoner Monk to pitch it if it's dead for too long. And if you just like, I don't usually have a problem getting it off. I mean, if I wait a few turns and I'm not dead by that time, I'll get the 4 Crystal Beasts and I'll be able to play that and, you know, kind of surprise the opponent. So I find that 2 is okay for me right now. I might cut it later, but I like 2. I run 3 of this. Some people only run 2. I mean, it's a free special summon of one of your Crystal Beasts in the Spell or Trap card zone. You may not run too many, but you want this in your hand. You want this. You want to have one of these in your hand most of the time, because if you do the combos right, you're gonna have a few Crystal Beasts down there, and you're always gonna have a Carbuncle down there. You're gonna search it out with one of your Pegasus, and if you have Promise, you can just bring everything else. You have the Field Spell. Really good. It has 5 different effects based on how many you have down there. It just gets better and better. It's super broken. If you have like 4 or 5 down there, just get free draws, free summons. It's crazy. Then you play Release. This is really necessary. It gives your Crystal Beast an 800 attack boost, but more importantly, whenever it's destroyed, you get to send a Crystal Beast. So it's kind of like Pegasus whenever it gets destroyed, which is super good because unlike the pure build that I used to run, this one has some, you know, you run the hands, you run the hand traps, and you run the Summoner Monks. So there aren't too many Crystal Beasts in this deck. So just getting to send as many as you can, as fast as you can, is super good before your opponent can pop them. Crystal Beacon, if you have 2 more, you special summon a Crystal Beast from the deck. So this one is what you're going to use to go into Carbuncle plays a lot. Super good. It's just really good. You know, this and Promise, I just love them so much. So I've got to run 3. And then the same deck video that I saw about the Super Rush Reckless, he mentioned playing this. It's basically a Monster Reborn for Beast-type monsters. You just special summon one, then your opponent loses attack. I mean, no reason not to get that free plus off that. Or if you go into Pegasus, it's basically a plus. Now for the extra deck, Leviair. You want to bring back your banished monsters if you can, because if you lose a Carbuncle, if you lose 2 Carbuncles, I mean, you lose. Like, it's really hard to come back if you don't have Carbuncle to go into. And there's so many cards right now that can just banish 2 cards from your grave. So just being able to bring back, I mean, even 1 Carbuncle, whatever, just being able to bring back. Fortune Tuner, same thing. If they're in the grave, this will help get your Carbuncles or whatever you need back into your deck. So it'll save you in bad times. Heartland Draco, just really good. It'll win you duels. Dark Rebellion and Gaga. Same thing, getting over strong monsters and also the burn effect. That can sometimes come in handy. Now, this is kind of a... So, if you play Crystal Beast, you know Lightning Chidori is so good because Pegasus is wind. So you can get into this, but I run 2 Castel and 1 Chidori. They have similar effects, except that with this, when it's summoned, you get to shuffle, place 1 on the bottom of the deck, and then you can also do the target. This one lets you target any card. This one is more specific, and because you only run 3 wind type, and this requires 2 of them, you're not really. I've never been able to go into this like, okay, well, I shouldn't say never. There have definitely been times when I've been able to probably go into 2 of these, but very rarely will that happen. There are a few, I mean, we run a lot of special summoning, so it's possible, but I just feel like I like having Castel because you run so many level 4s that this is going to be much more viable that you'd go into this more than once than this is, basically. So just 2 Castel. I just have more potential to get him out twice than Chidori. Abyss Dweller, really good. Diamond Dyer, you run a bunch of beasts, so I mean, of course. Rhapsody, really good. Corn, Gaga Samurai, OTK, and Ragnar Zero. So that's about it. I tried to go over everything, give some examples, and for the side deck, it's really, you can run like, I can't think of too many cards that would directly conflict with Crystal Beast, so you can pretty much run whatever you want. And oh, and just heads up, if you don't like the 2 Abundance or the 3 Promise or whatever, if you feel like that's too many of those, you can easily cut one of those and put in a Raigeki or something like that. You know, you're just a really good staple. But for the side deck, basically you're gonna want to side 3 MST. This can come in really handy game 2, depending on what kind of cards your opponent's running. If they're running something that really locks you down, or if you need more pendulum removal, MST is always go to. And same pendulum removal, spell shattering, macro. This really breaks certain decks. And Fairy Wind, just more pendulum. I don't have anti-spell fragrance. It's too much money for me right now. But if I had that, obviously you would want to run anti-spell over the Fairy Wind or the spell shattering. But there you go. I mean, hope that helps anybody who's trying to make the Crystal Beast deck. And stay tuned for more, guys. Have a good one.